Well, welcome to Rentals with Rachel. I'm here on location at the Scenic Drive Resort here in Muskegon with one of the owners, Jeremy Garcia. And we're going to find out a little bit more about this property and about investing in short-term rentals. So to start with, Jeremy, tell us a little bit about what drew you to this particular property and why you chose it.
What drew us here was this. They're not making more water. So one of our concepts and something that Bill Faith, a guy that I follow on YouTube and Facebook and stuff, he always says, buy the place for the views. There's a lot of bans in our area on short-term rentals. So where we're at here, there's actually a ban on them, but this property is grandfathered in. So all our competition is automatically eliminated for us. And so with this being grandfathered in, we knew that this was a great long-term investment. Within 10 minutes of a drive, we are looking at about approximately $1.2 billion of investment. And so we know for the long term, it makes a lot of sense to buy this, especially since the whole county is really leaning into tourism.
Excellent. And what kind of condition was the property in when you picked it up?
The property was tired. We had console TVs that were still in there, lots of old carpet. It was very dated. We have done so far about $650,000 in improvements.
Wow. Okay. And what do you see on the horizon with short-term rentals in terms of the future? I know there's been some shifts into what people, in particular guests, are looking for. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of changes in the market. So specifically here in the state of Michigan, over the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of rentals come on. In 2022 to 2023, we saw 34% growth in short-term rentals, which actually affected the market pretty dramatically, where average daily rates actually dropped by 17%. So people's revenue were dropping as all these others came on because of supply. And so that's putting a lot of pressure on what somebody can buy. And so with that pressure that's coming on, people are having to be more creative. A property like this becomes much more insular from that because the property down the street doesn't have the view. People will always pay more for this. And so we looked for different ways at how we could insulate ourselves from an expanding market. So that's one thing. Another thing is people have to get much more creative on what they do. The standard house going up online is just not going to cut it anymore.
Okay. So what kinds of things do you usually add to a house to make it more interesting?
So we always start with our core demographic whenever we're picking a house. One is our audience is, we have a 55% chance that it's going to be a female under 45. So we're making sure we know our demographic. And so we also know who travels to Muskegon. So we've designed all our properties in proportion to that as well. So we have certain houses that cater towards families, but in the same proportion of the amount of people who travel here in pairs. So we've tried to make sure we've run that balance. Things that we've done to make things stand out is here on Scenic Drive Resort, the family house, we call it the boho house. It has an indoor rock climbing wall for children. We've done different themes such as a fire station. We have a Star Wars house, and we'll be releasing a Frozen themed house soon.
Okay. I have a lot of clients that are interested in investing, and I'm curious what drew you to Muskegon specifically. I mean, this view is obviously amazing, but you have houses in Muskegon too that you do a short-term rental. So what about Muskegon attracts you?
The biggest thing with Muskegon is, the price point really makes sense. That is harder and harder to come by now because just like the rest of the country, we've seen a lot of upward pressure on the housing market. Things that helped attract us here is that it really started pushing away from its industrial past and leading into tourism and becoming a rural lakeside community. And so we feel that's still very early in the game. And I mentioned earlier the $1.2 billion in development. That really is opportunities of the future of people that are going to be coming here, families that are coming to visit. So as it starts becoming more of a tourist community, I think there's a lot of things that we'll be able to lean into, and we bought at the right time, have the right price points, and then I think that Muskegon will truly become the the best location in West Michigan, and it'll become the premier destination for families. And I say that because we have a beach, like many other beach towns. It's just as nice, if not nicer. But we also have Michigan Adventures. We have a big amusement park just down the road. In addition to that, we have the Winter Sports Complex. So this location is actually 1 mile away. So what we have year-round attractions that actually attract families, and the rest of the area, the rest of Michigan, are missing those other components.
Got it. So what do you think the trajectory is on that? Like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, what is your sense of the changes that are coming?
The changes are happening now. They started a few years ago. A lot of these projects take a while to get off the ground. One development just got announced earlier this spring. They're adding 2,000 homes. So, I mean, that's literally a small town being built. I grew up in a town of 800 people. So that is literally a town that's going to be built on the water. You have other developments that are coming in, and they're all happening right now. But we are looking at a 5 to 10 year window on this too, right? There's this is meant for the long term, and we are looking at this as a business, not a quick way to make a buck.
Okay. Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. A lot of people think short-term rentals are a pretty sexy investment, right?
Yes.
So what's the rest of the story on that? How hard is it to make that work, and how much work is it to run one?
It's a lot more work than what YouTube will tell you it is. So we have 28 places. It does keep us pretty busy. We have multiple full-time people that work with us. And so with that, there's constant maintenance that we have to check on, right? And your guest is always expecting what's in that picture. So you have to give that to them.
Right.
So after every turn, we have maintenance people out here checking on things. We have the cleaners out here. We got to make it look exactly like it does in that picture, because you're not going to come out and pay $1,000 a night to have it be beat up.
Right.
So we have to make sure we're always doing that. Lots of guest communication. I mean, we get lots of people who will randomly contact you at 10 o'clock at night because they don't know how to turn the TV on.
Right.
So you deal with lots of things like that. A lot of it's very minor, but you do have the occasional major problem where someone will just trash the place, or they want to have a hash bash, and you walk into the place and it just smells terrible.
Right.
And you have a guest coming in later that day. So you have to be really prepared. Things that people aren't thinking about when they're starting this is like, oh, this will be quick and easy. People will come in, they'll love it. But there's other things that are unintended. Like everyone has to go out and buy an ozone machine so that way they can have it there and be ready to go. So there's lots of extras that people aren't planning on.
Okay. So what gets you excited about doing this as a business? What do you really enjoy the most?
Overall, like what we enjoy the most is actually the changing and designing. That we really love the front end process. We've done a boutique hotel. That was a lot of fun to get up and running. Getting these places running is really where we have the most fun at. That's where the creativity gets to come out. The operations standpoint, not quite as fun, right? That's the day-to-day grind. That's the part that's much less sexy than the rest. But it's also incredibly necessary.
Right.
But yeah, the actual renovations of the property, changing a lump of coal into a diamond is really what we get excited about.
Okay. And I understand that your wife Melanie is generally the designer in-house for you. So we'll be talking with her in a little bit about that, but she's a huge component to this project as well.
Yeah, she does a lot of the front end side, so she'll do all the guest communication. She handles all the reservations. She works with the cleaners, and she does all the design work. I'm generally looking for the properties, running all the numbers. I deal with the revenue management and a lot of the maintenance stuff.
All right. Well, is there anything that you would want a new investor to know about this business?
Temper your expectations. This is a business, and it takes a while to get your growth. You really won't have true numbers on a property until you're 3 years in to really know what it is, because you will see growth in those. Your first year is not a true metric of what you have.
Okay, so Melanie, my understanding is you are in charge in the business of doing a lot of the design work, either overseeing other designers or creating designs for a lot of your properties. Can you tell us a little bit about what went into the design for the properties here on Scenic Drive?
So for these, we actually did a couple of different designs because we have a couple of different layouts. So each one of them have a living room. Some of them have different furniture, some are the same. So there's these three are the same, and then those three are the same, and then the one in the very end is different.
Okay.
The difference between them is the bedrooms. So these ones are like our family cottages, we call them, because they have 2 twins and then a queen bed.
Okay.
Whereas the others have 2 queens, and then the one in the very end has a king and a queen, because that layout's actually slightly different. But the rest of them are all identical layouts.
Okay.
The color I did pick, that was for the beach look. And I love that color, so I've used it several times places. We set up some Wi-Fi out here. That way people have heat rainy days and stuff. A lot of people I know watch TV. That is for heat and air condition. The bathrooms, some have actual tubs, and then some actually just have stand-up showers. So that's slightly different in all of them too. All of them have fully stocked kitchens. All of them have dual coffee makers. That way it gives people options. And then we also work with local companies. So like the coffee factory, I get all the coffee from. And there's a couple other companies we work with too for different activities and whatnot.
Okay.
But yeah, everything should be stocked. All your creamer, sugar, coffee, that kind of stuff's up there. I have sets of pretty much everything. There's pots and pans. They have dishcloths, that kind of stuff. Full-size fridges. So yeah, it's pretty much a full stock kitchen.
Okay. Do you find that guests are asking for particular things to be included in their rental? Particular features or?
A lot of them actually ask about grilling, if we have grills. So,
Okay.
Which we do, but they're like your stationary campground charcoal grills at the moment, and then they all have their own picnic tables. We did add hammocks last year, so they each have that, and they each have their own bonfire pit. So,
Okay.
we are stringing lights up if you actually go around the back. On this side, we have lights stringed up, and we're planning on doing it over there yet too.
To have
that
more
way-
outdoor evening type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be nice too. But.
Great.
Oh, a fun fact about these pictures.
Uh-huh.
If you look at all these, they're all from Muskegon. And if you look really close, she actually wrote a lot of them, what year they were from and what it was from.
Oh, nice.